Ever heard the phrase, dreams always come true? What would you do if you lived that phrase in your own flesh? Or rather, what would you do if your dreams come true, but you only have nightmares? I will now tell you how, as a child, all my nightmares came true in one night, and if it wasn't for a stroke of luck and a lot of help, that nightmare would still be tormenting me every day until it took me with it. The nightmare started when I was just an 8-year-old girl. My parents were worried about me. I had a lot of sleep disorders and I was doing poorly in school because I was always tired. They didn't understand what was wrong with me, and I can't blame them. I never told them what I was going through. I was terrified of falling asleep. I used to stay awake as long as I could. At some point, my eyes would close and I would have to face my nightmares. They were always the same. I was at home, dressed in a Christmas sweater. I heard a noise in the dining room, and I went over to see if it was Santa Claus with my presents. When I get to the dining room, Santa has his back turned. Alerted by the noise I make, he turns around and looks at me. Something's wrong. His face. Santa is not my friend. Santa is a monster. Santa stares at me. I can't move. I can't do anything. And he knows it. Suddenly, he walks towards me with his hands raised, ready to catch me. Everything goes black, but I feel strong pain in my head. Suddenly, full of sweat and in tears, I woke up. That horrendous dream tormented me for years and years, until one day when I had already turned 14, I decided to abandon my dreams and enter my house on Christmas. Meg, are you sure you don't want to go to your uncle's house with us?
No, Dad, I'm fine. I'm just really sleepy. I feel like I can sleep today if I stay.
I lied. I just didn't want to go to my uncle's house. I don't know why, but I always try to avoid him. Okay. Are you sure? Your uncle always asks for you. Since your aunt passed away, he doesn't see you. You must go sooner or later.
Of course, Dad. I will. I just feel like I can rest. I feel so bad.
Okay. Well, if you regret it, just call us and we'll come for you immediately. We are only a few kilometers away. As soon as my parents left, I made myself a coffee. I was very sleepy, but it was Christmas, and I had to avoid sleeping at all costs, at least until the 26th. I was whisking my coffee in the kitchen, staring blankly, until a sound coming from the dining room alerted me. Confused, I put down the coffee and grabbed a knife, carefully approaching the source of the noise. When I saw the source of the sound, I froze. It was someone dressed as Santa Claus in the same position as in my dreams. Santa turned around and had exactly the same face I saw for so long when I closed my eyes.
No, this has to be a dream.
I pinched myself as hard as I could, but I was in pain. This was not a dream. This was happening.
Who are you? What do you want? Why are you chasing me? Why are you doing this to me? No! Get away from me!
It may be repeating the same thing as in the dream, but this was real life, and I wasn't going to stand by while he attacked me. With Santa's distraction, I ran into the bathroom and locked the door. On the other side, I could hear banging, kicking, and even headbutting. Santa was trying to get in.
Get away from me! My parents just went to get something. They'll be here any minute.
I was lying. My parents weren't coming for hours. As soon as I said this, the banging stopped. Had I scared him? Now I just had to be patient. Wait for the right moment to run out of the house.
How did you get in here? The door's locked. There's no way you could have gotten in.
I stood up to open the door and escape, but the very lock I put on it was what gave Santa enough time to grab me by the hair and pull me into his bag. Inside it, I kicked, resisted, and tried to break it, but nothing worked. This was not a normal bag. In the dark, I felt blows all over my body, as if Santa was pulling me down the staircase. I screamed and screamed as much as I could. I closed my eyes and cried, surrendering, until suddenly I heard a familiar voice. "Megan, what's wrong with you?"
My baby, what happened to you?
I opened my eyes again, and there was no Santa near me. I wasn't even in the bag. "Megan, are you okay? Are you hurt?"
Dad, Mom, where's Santa? He was carrying me down the stairs. Santa? Sweetheart, you were alone. We both saw you falling down the stairs by yourself.
"We came back because we forgot the presents for your cousins. When we arrived, we saw you falling down the stairs alone. There's nobody here."
Meg, we're your parents. Trust us. There's something you're not telling us.
Fortunately, I had been unharmed by the fall. My mother helped me up and escorted me to the kitchen table, while my father made me tea. It was hard, but I told them everything. After that, I went to a lot of psychologists and also told them about my dreams. After many years and some hypnosis therapy sessions, I discovered that just as I was hiding things from my parents, my brain was hiding things from me. With the psychologist in front of me, I had Santa's dream again. But this time, it was not a dream. It was a memory. I was only 8 years old. I heard Santa Claus in the dining room, so I went to spy on him dropping off presents. I found Santa, but when I saw his face, I realized it wasn't Santa. It was my uncle in disguise. He wasn't dropping off presents. He was choking my aunt, who was on the floor crying. I screamed, terrified, not understanding what was happening. This alerted my uncle, who turned around and looked at me. "What are you doing?"
Santa? What's going on? I don't understand you.
Furious and clearly under the effects of some heavy drug, my uncle walked quickly towards me and without my reacting, threw me against the wall and hit my head. When they woke me up the next day, my parents thought I had fallen. I didn't remember anything. When I talked to my parents about it, they both went to confront my uncle. My father fought with him, and in the middle of the fight, my cousins were almost my age. They burst into tears and asked us for help, yelling at us that not only did my uncle beat them, but they had witnessed how he killed my aunt a year after that Christmas. It has been 10 years since it happened. My uncle's in jail, and my cousins live with me and my parents. With a lot of time and therapy, I stopped dreaming about Santa and started to enjoy Christmas. I spent my whole life thinking about how to escape the monster of my dreams, when in reality they were just trying to warn me that this monster was real and was much closer than I thought.